On a seemingly ordinary afternoon, a moment that could have been forgotten by anyone else became the turning point in the lives of a young boy and one of the most famous athletes the world has ever known. Michael Jordan, the legend whose name is synonymous with greatness, lost something that no one could have predicted would change everything. Not his championship rings, not his wealth, but something far more precious, a wallet containing memories, a simple piece of his life that could never be replaced. What happens next will make you question what really matters in this world. And it all began with a simple choice made by a 12-year-old boy named Diego. What would you have done in his shoes? Michael Jordan loses his wallet. It was a rare moment of calm in the hectic life of Michael Jordan, a man who was accustomed to the bright lights of stadiums and the constant press of his legendary career. On this particular afternoon, however, Michael sought something far more elusive. An ordinary day, away from the cameras and the pressure. For the first time in a long time, he decided to step out into the world like a regular person, blending in with the crowd, enjoying the simplicity of life without the constraints of fame. Dressed casually in a faded hoodie, comfortable jeans, and a cap pulled low over his eyes, he walked through the quiet streets of his hometown. The world saw Michael Jordan as the icon, the basketball giant who had achieved everything. But to him, those moments of anonymity, of walking among the people, were the rare moments he could truly savor. Michael loved the feeling of being just another face in the crowd. Today, his goal was simple: to take a stroll, soak in the fresh air, and forget about the pressure of his stardom, even if just for a few hours. As he wandered, he felt the familiar rhythm of his thoughts as they drifted from one thing to another: his family, his past, the legacy he had built. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened next. Unbeknownst to him, somewhere along his walk, his wallet slipped out of his pocket. It wasn't something that happened often to a man of his stature. He had always been careful with his belongings, always aware of his surroundings. But this moment was different. Maybe it was the tranquility of the day or the weight of his thoughts. Either way, the wallet, containing irreplaceable memories and personal items, fell unnoticed onto the pavement. It wasn't until Michael reached a small local convenience store to grab a snack that he realized something was terribly wrong. Reaching into his pocket to pay, he felt nothing but the cold emptiness of fabric. His heart skipped a beat as he checked again. Nothing. It was gone. Frantically, he began to search his pockets, running his hands over every corner of his jacket, hoping it had just slipped into an unusual spot. His mind raced as he retraced his steps in his mind. He had been walking down the same familiar street, lost in his thoughts, and he couldn't recall when it had happened, when the wallet had fallen from his pocket. Michael stepped outside the store, eyes scanning the sidewalk as if willing the wallet to appear out of thin air. But the streets were empty, and the wallet was nowhere to be found. At that moment, a deep sigh escaped his lips. It wasn't about the money. He had more than enough to last a lifetime. But the wallet wasn't just a simple accessory to him. It held something much more precious: memories. Inside, there were photographs of his family, sentimental keepsakes from his life as an athlete, handwritten notes that had been carried for years. These weren't items that could be replaced. His mind raced, but there was nothing he could do. Michael had been in the public eye for decades, and yet in this moment he felt completely powerless. His fame and fortune couldn't change the fact that something he cared about had been lost, something that no amount of money could bring back. As he stood there, the realization settled in, a strange, almost humbling feeling. The loss of the wallet, while seemingly insignificant in the grand scheme of things, was deeply personal. It was a reminder that no matter how famous or wealthy one might be, there were some things that couldn't be controlled. The world wasn't going to wait for him to find the wallet. The world wasn't going to change just because he was Michael Jordan. He had to accept the vulnerability that came with being human, with being someone who, despite all his achievements, was still subject to the same struggles and losses as anyone else. But just as quickly as the frustration had bubbled up, hope emerged. Michael's thoughts shifted. As he stood there looking around, he realized that he couldn't let this feeling of helplessness define him. He would have to trust that someone, somewhere, would find the wallet and do what was right. Maybe it would be returned, maybe not. But in that moment he chose to believe in the good in people, even if it was just for a fleeting moment. He could only hope that someone with a strong moral compass would find it and see it not as an opportunity for personal gain, but as a small, fleeting opportunity to do something good in a world that often seemed too focused on material gain. As he walked away from the store, Michael's mind was consumed with the thought of the wallet. The frustration, the helplessness, and the quiet acceptance that there was nothing more he could do filled him with an unexpected sense of vulnerability. The world around him was buzzing with the constant energy of his fame, but in this simple moment of loss, he was just another man, searching for something valuable that had slipped away. And perhaps that was the most humbling realization of all, that even the greatest of us are not immune to the trials and tribulations of life. Little did Michael know, his loss would become someone else's opportunity to do something remarkable, and in the simplest of actions, the world would witness the power of honesty, integrity, and kindness, values that Michael had always stood for, but would soon see mirrored in the actions of a young boy who had no idea the kind of impact he was about to have on a world that seemed so much bigger than him. Diego finds the wallet and chooses to return it. As the afternoon sun cast long shadows over the city, Diego, a 12-year-old boy from a struggling family, walked home from school with a heavy backpack slung over his shoulder. His eyes were tired from the long day, and his thoughts were consumed with worries that weighed more on him than most kids his age. Diego's family had lived a hard life ever since his father left when he was just a toddler. His mother, Lucia, worked 2 low-pay jobs to support him and his younger sister, Isabella. Every day was a fight to make ends meet. No matter how hard Lucia worked, it never seemed to be enough. But they made do, because at the end of the day, they had each other. As Diego walked along the quiet street, lost in his thoughts, something unusual caught his eye. There, lying abandoned on the pavement, was a black wallet. He bent down, curiosity piqued, and picked it up. The wallet was thick, heavy with something inside. His fingers trembled slightly as he opened it, and his eyes widened in shock. The wallet was stuffed with cash, more money than Diego had ever seen in his young life. For a moment he just stared at the bills, imagining what that money could do for his family. His heart beat faster as he thought about the possibility of paying the rent, buying the groceries they so desperately needed, or fixing the broken heater in their small apartment. This could be the answer to all their problems, a way out of the endless cycle of financial struggle. He could give his mom a break, take some of the burden off her shoulders. But as Diego continued to look through the wallet, he noticed something else, something that stopped him cold. There, tucked between the cash, was a photograph of a man who seemed strangely familiar. The man in the photo was smiling, his eyes full of warmth, and under the picture was a name printed on an ID card: Michael Jordan. Diego had heard the name before. He wasn't a huge fan of basketball, but he knew who Michael Jordan was. The basketball legend, the man who could seemingly do no wrong, who had won championships and earned a fortune, the man who was revered by millions. A momentary surge of excitement ran through Diego. This was Michael Jordan's wallet. The money in it was his. This wasn't just some random wallet, it belonged to one of the most famous people in the world. For a moment, Diego's mind raced with possibilities. He thought about the desperate situation his family was in and the life-changing effect this money could have on them. He could help his mom. He could fix the broken heater that had been making their apartment freezing during the winter months. His younger sister, Isabella, wouldn't have to wear the same clothes to school every day. His mom wouldn't have to work herself to the bone anymore. But then, as Diego's fingers brushed the picture of Michael Jordan, something in his heart shifted. He remembered his mother's words she had spoken countless times, her voice full of both wisdom and love. Do the right thing, no matter how hard life gets. Your honesty is worth more than anything. He paused. The weight of the wallet in his hand felt different now. It no longer represented the answer to his family's troubles. It was a reminder of what his mother had taught him, about doing what was right, about integrity and honesty, even when nobody was watching. Diego knew in that moment that keeping the money wasn't the right choice. With a deep breath, Diego made his decision. He would return the wallet. No matter how much it could help his family, he couldn't betray his values. He couldn't betray his mother's teachings. He would find Michael Jordan, and he would give the wallet back. As he headed home, he couldn't help but feel a mixture of pride and nervousness. He didn't know how he would contact the basketball legend, but he was determined to do so. There was no other choice. Diego's heart told him that returning the wallet wasn't just about doing the right thing. It was about standing up for what truly mattered: love, family, and honesty. Michael Jordan meets Diego and expresses gratitude. The next day, the streets of Diego's neighborhood buzzed with a quiet energy. The whole area had heard whispers of what Diego had done, returning the wallet of Michael Jordan, the basketball legend. Diego couldn't stop thinking about the meeting that was to come. He was nervous, more nervous than he'd ever been in his young life. What would he say to Michael Jordan? What if he messed it up? What if the legendary athlete didn't understand how much this moment meant to him? Diego arrived at the park where they had agreed to meet, his hands sweaty as he gripped the wallet. His heart was racing, and he was doing everything he could to keep his emotions in check. He glanced around, but there was no sign of Michael. It was then that he noticed a figure approaching from a distance, walking with purpose yet without the usual entourage of bodyguards or cameras that followed him everywhere. Diego's breath caught in his throat. There, walking toward him with a relaxed but genuine smile, was Michael Jordan himself. He was dressed simply in a black t-shirt, jeans, and a baseball cap, a far cry from the polished, immaculate image the world was used to seeing him in. Michael's presence, however, was undeniable. He carried an air of warmth and humility that matched his towering legacy. As he walked up to Diego, his eyes locked with the young boy's, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to disappear. It was just the two of them. One legend and one boy with a heart full of integrity. Diego swallowed hard, trying to steady his nerves, and extended the wallet to Michael. "Here it is," he said softly, his voice trembling slightly. "I didn't take anything from it." Michael Jordan looked down at the wallet, then back at Diego, a mixture of gratitude and emotion crossing his face. He opened it, checking the contents quickly: cash, credit cards, photographs, and the little keepsakes that had made this wallet more than just an object. It was a part of him, a collection of memories and moments that defined who he was. Everything was intact. With a deep breath, Michael Jordan looked up at Diego. The sincerity in his eyes was undeniable, and his voice was filled with emotion as he spoke. "Thank you, Diego," he said, his voice steady but filled with warmth. "You don't know how much this means to me. You could have kept that wallet, kept the money, but you didn't. That says a lot about who you are. You are a good person." Diego lowered his gaze, feeling the weight of Michael's words. He wasn't sure how to respond. It wasn't every day that a young boy like him received such praise, especially from someone like Michael Jordan. But Diego wasn't in this for the praise. He did what he did because of the lessons his mother had instilled in him, the lessons that had shaped him into the person he was. "My mom always says we should do the right thing, no matter how hard life gets," Diego said, his voice a bit more confident now. Michael Jordan smiled, his admiration for the boy growing even stronger. "Your mom sounds like a wise woman," he said softly. "It's not always easy to do the right thing, especially when nobody's watching. You've shown incredible strength in doing what's right." Diego nodded, his heart swelling with pride. He looked up at Michael, who was now kneeling down to his level, the towering figure looking at him with such respect that it made Diego feel like he could do anything. "I thought about it for a long time," Diego admitted. "I could have helped my family with that money, but when I saw your picture, I knew it wasn't mine to take. I couldn't hurt you like that." Michael's expression softened and a quiet sigh escaped his lips. He was moved, not just by Diego's actions, but by the wisdom and strength of character that a 12-year-old boy could have. "You're a special kid, Diego," Michael said, his voice full of admiration. "Most people would have kept that money, especially with all the struggles you and your family face. But you didn't. You chose honesty, and that speaks volumes." Diego felt a deep sense of humility. It wasn't just about returning the wallet anymore. It was about the validation of everything he had been taught by his mother. It was about knowing that, despite the hardships they faced, their values were what truly defined them. He had always wanted to make his mom proud, to be someone who could stand tall and say, "I did what was right." Michael Jordan stood up and placed a hand on Diego's shoulder, a gesture full of encouragement. "I'm proud of you, Diego. You've done something very few people would do. And I'm sure your mom is incredibly proud of you too." Diego smiled shyly. For a moment, he felt as if he were walking on air. The words from someone as great as Michael Jordan were more than he could have ever imagined. But it was more than just the praise. It was the recognition of the values that had been passed down to him, the values he held dear. This moment wasn't just about a wallet. It was about something much bigger, a reminder that doing what's right, even when it's hard, could change lives. For Diego, this was a turning point. He realized that the world could be full of challenges, but it was his integrity that would always guide him through. Community reaction and media attention. In the days following Diego's act of honesty, something incredible began to unfold. What had seemed like an ordinary, almost forgotten act of kindness quickly spread far beyond the small neighborhood park where it had happened. It all started when Mrs. Martinez, a local resident who happened to witness the entire exchange between Michael Jordan and Diego, couldn't contain her admiration. She immediately pulled out her phone, recording a short video of the moment. Diego, holding the wallet in both hands, looking up at Michael with a mixture of nervousness and pride. The video captured more than just a simple act of returning a lost item. It captured the essence of something that was too often forgotten in today's world: honesty, integrity, and the courage to do what was right. Mrs. Martinez shared the video on her social media accounts, tagging the local news station. What happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. Within hours, the video had gone viral. News outlets picked up the story, and the footage, now accompanied by interviews with Diego, his mother Lucia, and even Michael Jordan, aired on television. The world was captivated by the story of this young boy who, despite his own struggles, chose to do the right thing over self-interest. The headlines read, "Local boy's honesty shines bright, returns wallet to basketball legend." Viewers across the country were moved by the footage. Social media exploded with reactions. Comments flooded in, praising Diego for his integrity and expressing admiration for his mother, who had raised such a thoughtful, morally grounded son. One tweet read, "This is what the world needs to see. Kids with strong morals who understand the importance of doing what's right." Another comment said, "Shout out to the mom who taught her son these life lessons. What a powerful example of how we can all make a difference, no matter our circumstances." The public's reaction was overwhelming. Diego's story wasn't just inspiring, it was a call to action. It reminded people of the importance of living with integrity, of choosing to be honest even when no one is watching. But as the story gained momentum, it wasn't just the average person who took notice. Celebrities, influencers, and public figures began sharing the story, praising Diego for his strength of character. Michael Jordan, himself, tweeted, "Honesty is a rare gift. Proud of this young man for reminding us all what truly matters: kindness." The tweet quickly went viral, attracting millions of likes and retweets. The simple message of gratitude and respect for Diego's actions had an enormous impact. It sparked conversations on talk shows, news stations, and across social media platforms. Some questioned why such a story had become so viral, but most saw it as a refreshing reminder of what the world could be if more people embraced honesty and integrity. Amidst the media frenzy, the story began to take on a life of its own. Schools across the country, recognizing the profound impact of Diego's actions, began incorporating his story into their curriculum on ethics and character education. Teachers used Diego's decision as a case study to help students understand the real-life consequences of their moral choices. It wasn't just a story, it was a lesson for all to learn. Diego's life, and his family's life, began to change in ways they could never have imagined. Nonprofits focused on youth empowerment reached out, eager to collaborate with Diego and his family on initiatives promoting kindness, service, and community. Scholarship offers for both Diego and his younger sister Isabella began rolling in as schools and organizations recognized their potential. The story of Diego had become a movement, an inspiring call to remind people that one act of kindness, no matter how small, could lead to a ripple effect that spreads far and wide. Even Michael Jordan saw the profound effect Diego's actions had on the world, and he decided to take it further. He used his influence to create opportunities for Diego and his family, making sure they had the resources to live a better life. He arranged a job interview for Lucia, Diego's mother, with a reputable company that offered better pay and stability. In addition, he helped the family with immediate financial support, covering their rent and providing assistance for necessities. For the first time in years, Lucia could breathe a little easier. But beyond the financial help, it was the deeper message that resonated with so many. The story of Diego and his family wasn't just about returning a wallet. It was a reminder of the power of kindness, of staying true to one's values even when faced with difficult choices. It demonstrated that even in a world that often feels divided and overwhelmed by negativity, simple acts of integrity can bring people together and inspire change. The entire community had witnessed how one young boy's choice to return a wallet to a stranger had sparked a chain of events that would not only change his family's life, but also influence an entire generation. And as the story continued to be shared, one thing became abundantly clear. The world needed more people like Diego. Positive outcomes for Diego and his family. In the weeks following Diego's selfless act, something extraordinary happened, not just for him, but for his entire family. The story of Diego returning Michael Jordan's wallet continued to inspire countless people around the world, sparking a wave of positivity that would forever alter the course of their lives. Diego, who had once carried the weight of responsibility for his family's survival, now found himself at the heart of a new beginning. A chance to change everything, not just for him, but for his mother Lucia and his younger sister Isabella. One of the first signs that things were beginning to shift was the unexpected news that Lucia, Diego's mother, had been offered a job at a reputable company thanks to the efforts of Michael Jordan. It was a position with better pay, stability, and room for growth, everything she had been desperately seeking but had never been able to secure. For years, Lucia had worked 2 grueling jobs just to make ends meet, often sacrificing her own well-being for the sake of her children. Now, thanks to the attention Diego's story had garnered, a door had opened for her that she had never imagined. Lucia stood in her small kitchen, the phone pressed to her ear, as she listened in disbelief to the voice on the other end. The company's hiring manager spoke with such warmth and kindness, acknowledging the dedication and strength of a mother who had worked tirelessly to provide for her family. "We've heard so much about your story," the manager said. "We'd like to offer you a position with us. We believe you're exactly the kind of person we're looking for." Lucia's eyes filled with tears as she processed the words. For the first time in a long time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Hope for a future where she didn't have to constantly worry about making ends meet. But the changes didn't stop there. Michael Jordan, deeply moved by Diego's honesty and character, took it upon himself to make sure that the family's needs were taken care of. He arranged for immediate assistance, ensuring that their rent was paid for the next few months, and helping them with basic necessities like groceries and new clothes. This was not a handout. It was an investment in their future, a way to lift them out of their struggles and give them a chance to rebuild. Lucia, overwhelmed with gratitude, couldn't believe what was happening. She had spent so many years battling through the tough circumstances life had dealt her, but now, through the actions of her son, everything was beginning to change. She was given the chance to rest, to focus on her new job, and most importantly, to breathe a little easier knowing that her children's future no longer hung by a thread. But perhaps the most meaningful gift of all came when Diego and his family were invited to visit Michael Jordan on the set of his latest commercial. It was a day that would forever remain etched in their memories. As they stepped onto the set, they were treated like VIPs, taken on a behind-the-scenes tour, introduced to the cast and crew, and given an experience unlike anything they had ever imagined. Diego could hardly believe it when Michael Jordan himself greeted them with a smile, shaking their hands and expressing his admiration for Diego's integrity. Later, as the family gathered in a private space, Michael handed Lucia a letter. She opened it slowly, her heart pounding as she read the words written inside. It was a job offer from the company that had given her a chance, accompanied by a personal note from Michael. He thanked Lucia for raising such a remarkable son and expressed how proud he was of Diego. As the family left the set that day, Diego couldn't help but reflect on the incredible turn of events. What started as an act of honesty had spiraled into an outpouring of support, kindness, and opportunity. His actions had not only changed his own life, but had also impacted the lives of those around him, his mother, his sister, and even people he had never met before. He had inspired others to believe in the power of doing the right thing, regardless of the circumstances. For the first time in his life, Diego felt like the weight on his shoulders had lightened. He wasn't carrying his family alone anymore. The world had responded to his decision, and now they had a chance at a better future. With his mother's new job, the family was able to move into a better apartment, one with more space, warmth, and stability. The dream of a brighter future didn't seem so far away anymore. As for Michael Jordan, the encounter with Diego left a lasting mark on his heart. In an interview shortly after, he shared how the experience had changed him. "It's not about the wallet," Michael said. "It's about the kindness and integrity of a young boy who chose to do the right thing. Diego reminded me of what really matters in life. It's not about fame or wealth. It's about making a difference in the lives of others." Diego's story was more than just a tale of returning a wallet. It was a testament to the power of honesty, kindness, and the ripple effect that one person's decision to do what's right can have on the world. It was a reminder that, in a world where so much seems uncertain, acts of integrity could change lives, inspire communities, and remind us all of the importance of staying true to our values. What would you have done if you were in Diego's shoes? Would you have kept the wallet, or would you have done the right thing and returned it? Diego's story shows us the power of honesty, kindness, and integrity, and how one simple act of goodness can change the lives of those around us. It's a reminder that we all have the ability to make a difference, no matter how small the action may seem. If Diego's story touched your heart, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the choice Diego made? Have you ever faced a similar situation? Your story could inspire others, just like Diego inspired the world. Don't forget to like this video if you believe in the power of doing the right thing, and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories that make a difference. Click the bell icon so you won't miss any future updates. Let's continue to spread kindness and integrity together. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Kindness really does matter.